This is Bruce Pearl.
Sean Shire.
Sean Miller.
I love the Field of 68.
I listen to you guys every morning.
Are we still live?
UConn wasn't on my radar.
From the bluest of the blue bloods to the smallest of the mid-majors, the only way to keep up with college basketball is through the Field of 68.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Goodman and Hummel podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Goodman. He is Robbie Hummel, and he is along for the ride. How are you?
I'm good. I haven't seen you in a week. Actually, I had many people ask me, where is the podcast? And
Really?
I told them I was ready at the Park MGM to wait and stay after and record. And Jeff hates working hard so much that he's addicted to going to the gambling tables and the blackjack tables, and he pieced him and Doster. They didn't care about it.
Actually,
Which is sick, 'cause it's your company. It's you and his company.
Doster was actually working. He was breaking everything down. So I can't throw him under the bus. I like to. I cannot throw him under the bus for this one. You only had 15 minutes. We decided we were going to go downstairs and play a little blackjack, but then you were like, I think your debit card didn't work or something. You couldn't get any money.
No, the ATM was far. I had to go to the airport, dude. So
Right,
you spotted me 200 and I won you $1. You gave me $200 and I gave you back 201. So you owe me $1. Also, I just got to say, Farnham was there, obviously, because he's a West Coast guy. He covers those, whether it's the Pac-12 or WCC or mostly WCC for him. But he was sitting next to me, and we need to find the footage of me throwing a dime across the ballroom and landing this pen cap legitimately
it was like 15 feet. It was like 15 feet.
At least 30 feet. First of all, I have a cannon. Second of all, my accuracy is unmatched. Right in between you and Doster. Could not have been better. And then the look on your face of actually being pissed for, I think you were mad for 2 or 3 seconds. You were actually mad. We got to go back into the live stream and find the places where you were pelted with the pen
I was so shocked. Right here. I was so shocked because I've never seen you throw a pass in your entire life. So
That's not
the
true.
fact that you threw
Not true. I was an unselfish player. I passed.
Etwan Moore and Juwan Johnson would disagree.
I don't think they would. I really think they would say I passed. I don't know if anybody would ever say I did not pass. That was not the issue. Now saying I didn't defend, all right, maybe.
That's okay.
Maybe that
was clear. That was clear. Trust me.
I was a good help defender.
Yeah, sure you were. Anyway, I'm in New York here. Big East Media Day is tomorrow. Then we're headed down to the SoCal Media Day, which should be fun.
You live a rough life. Charleston and New York City, or Asheville. Yeah, Asheville and New York City. Rough.
Yeah, I think I got 50 days till Charleston though, so you can start the countdown, the official countdown.
God, the countdown is on.
By the way, you didn't believe that the search for the Robbie Hummel statue continued. You did not believe it when I tweeted it.
I know it. It's just fake. You made your daughter and her classmate do that, which is, she did a good job. They both did a good job, but it's not going to happen. It shouldn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen.
Hey, did you like the one woman and her daughter when they asked, do you know who Robbie Hummel is? And the woman's eyes were just like, no, I have no idea who he is. At your home. I mean, this is your home. This is where you grew up at Purdue. You're supposed to be a star. Everybody's supposed to know who you were.
You know what my favorite part of Pac-12 Media Day was?
Go ahead.
I think every coach came up to me and said, I am so sorry that you do that podcast with Jeff. That was my favorite part. They literally, even Tommy Lloyd was like, man, that's tough for you. And I think they question your Arizona loyalty with some of your hater takes.
Yes, they do. They always have, actually. I once had to check in. I swear, I had to check into my hotel in Tucson under a fake name years ago.
What year?
True. I don't know if that was like early Sean Miller. It had to be early Sean Miller era, I guess. I don't know.
You were probably you had an ESPN association at that point too.
Yes, I think so. I think
that
so.
would have hurt the cause.
No, it was well before that.
of
It was
you.
well before that. Yeah, it was.
Are you
early.
talking like the Chase Budinger era or like Channing Frye era?
Neither, because Sean Miller wasn't there for either.
Oh,
of
wait, you're
those.
saying Sean Miller. I thought you meant before
Yeah.
Sean. You're saying
No,
before
early Sean days. So it would have been
so like
like
the Derek Williams teams?
yeah, maybe a year or two after that.
Dude, you're
even.
such a coward. What name
I
did you check in under? Like Bruce Wayne?
I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what
Vinny
name
Chase, Bruce
it was.
Wayne.
I might start doing that. I
Dude,
might
that's
have
what
to
all the
start
good
doing
NBA players have, like aliases
I
like
know.
that.
What was the best one? What
The
was the
funniest
best
one to me ever was when Kevin Garnett got traded to our team. And I was looking at the rooming list, and it was like Ricky Rubio, 419, Robbie Hummel, 421, Corey Brewer, 423, Bruce Wayne, question mark. And no one knew what room he was in either. I love that. I think that is so funny. That is so funny. And but you know what? In
man.
fairness to him, he was a legitimate superstar known around the world. And
Yep.
he was the only guy that even Kevin Love didn't have that. He was probably the most famous guy to play with up until then. But then KG was a different level, right? So, but it was still funny to be like Bruce Wayne question mark is sick.
Do you think if right now, if you called Kevin Garnett and you said this is Robbie Hummel, do you think he'd have any idea who you are?
So I wondered this because he played for 21 years. And if you play for 21 years, you play with a lot of guys. And I was only with him for like 4 months. But I will say I saw him at a FIBA 3-on-3 tournament in LA in 2019.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What's up, hum?" That's what he always called
Wow.
me. So he honestly, that maybe someone told him because I was there or whatever, but who knows? I always, he's at a different level. He played with so many guys, but the one interaction I've had with him since we were teammates, he didn't know who I was.
That poor dude. I mean, think about you defensively and how good he was as a communicator and how he probably had to make up for your defensive liabilities.
I mean, I was a good communicator. Talking wasn't my issue. It would have been actually guarding.
Moving was your issue.
Please look up. We need to go on Synergy and look at what my defensive rating was. My 2 years in the NBA. We'll see. Strong positional defender. Knows the scouting report.
According to who? According to who?
Synergy. Let's pull it up. If you want to talk
I want
this
to see the
noise.
scout. I want to see an opposing team scout from back when they had you.
How are we going to find that?
You know what it said? Weak ass defender.
All right, you know what? We're going to go to
Adam.
the data. We're going to go to the data right now, and I'm going to tell you
Right
what
now.
Synergy says about if I can get on here.
I think we're going to have to do this next week. We don't have time for this week. You can go.
You're sitting
do
in a
some
hotel
research.
room, not doing anything. How do we
No,
not have
we're
time?
moving forward. We're going to move forward with the spot. We have topics to cover.
All right, well, you move forward, and I'm going to keep searching for. Hold on, this will take 20 seconds, but move forward if you please.
Well, I'm gonna intro what the topics are going to be that we're going to talk about today, and by then you'll hopefully have the info. We're going to talk. Each one of us is going to pick our 5 teams that we think can win the whole thing.
I knew it, dude.
Oh no!
Rating
no. What?
Good. All possessions, good. Half court, good. Out of bounds from the side, out of bounds, excellent defense. After timeouts, below average, but we can't be great. Last 4 seconds of shot clock, excellent. Man to man, very good. Talk that noise some more. And that was on a team that won 16 games. All right, the year prior.
You know what I think I'm going to do?
Good.
Hey,
very good on all positions. Half court, very good. Out of bounds on the side, I was average. But after timeouts, excellent.
Why were you so bad out of timeouts?
I'm not. No, in my first year, I was excellent in the 96th percentile of the NBA. So keep talking this noise here, Jeff.
You know what you've done? You've inspired me. You know, you've inspired me.
The analytics don't lie. All right.
You've inspired me now to reach out to about 10 players that you went up against in the NBA.
No, I want you to not them. I want you to ask my coaches. Ask my coaches what they thought of my defensive prowess.
All right, now it's time to really get down to business here. And we have 3 topics we're going to talk about today on the podcast. 1, 5 teams we each think can win it all or will win it all. 1, the coaches with the most pressure on them. Not hot seat, but coaches with the most pressure on them and what level of pressure they're facing. We'll talk about certainly John Calipari among those. And then 5 of the most important players, not the best players, but 5 of the most important players in all of college basketball. So it's going to be a little rapid fire so we can get through this whole thing, Rob. Let's start with the 5 teams that we think can win it all and why. And okay. I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to kick things off with your boy, John Shire and Duke, because they do have all the pieces. They've got a elite point guard, I think, in Tyrese Proctor. He hasn't shown he's elite yet, but I think he's going to be elite.
But the jump is coming, right?
I think we all agree the jump's going to be there for Proctor. Yes. Yep. Filipowski, as long as he's healthy from the double hip surgery, one of the best players in the country. Preseason first team All-American by the Associated Press. You've got some good young players. I think Jared McCain's going to have a big year. You've got glue guys like Mark Mitchell. You've got backup bigs like Ryan Young. Like, they just don't really lack a whole heck of a lot.
Would you argue that maybe shooting could be an issue from the perimeter, maybe, for this team? I mean, I think Duke is going to be there too, but you're confident with that? Right.
I just think they've got really good overall shooting, enough, right? Filipowski can make shots from deep. Proctor can shoot it from deep. Didn't shoot it great early last year. McCain can really shoot it. I think they got enough. I think they got enough, and I don't know how if you're making a list of 5 teams that can win it all, I'm not sure how you could leave Duke off.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I got them on mine. So
go ahead. Who else you got?
Kansas. I have the Kansas Jayhawks. Even without Arterio Morris, DeJuan Harris, big time point guard, great defensive player, stirs the drink, shot a respectable percentage from 3. Nick Timberlake, he needs to make shots for this team, certainly, because it's going to be an interesting fit with KJ Adams and Hunter Dickinson together. And I've seen Hunter play plenty with a 4-man that has struggled to make shots from 3. So if that, if the shooting's not there on the perimeter, because KJ Adams really isn't a 3-point shooter, he's a facilitator, he's a big-time athlete, he's a tank, then I would think Hunter's going to see a lot of doubles like he did last year. But the talent is there. McCullough's a really good college player, big-time defender. Elmarco Jackson, big-time freshman, and then just the depth, that they'll throw at you with Zach Clements. I think Parker Brown is going to get a chance to get thrown in there. Jamari McDowell, talented freshman. And then I'm really curious to see what Johnny Furphy is. This Australian player that nobody knows much about. But, Bill Self is just a terrific X and O's coach, and they have a ton of talent. So the Kansas Jayhawks are on that list for me.
Yeah, they're right there with me too. It's 1A Duke, 1B Kansas. The only thing I worry about with Kansas that I don't worry about as much with Duke is the perimeter shooting. I think it's more of a question mark for the Jayhawks than it is for Duke, but they've got everything else, and I think they can win games on the defensive end, where I'm not sure Duke can do that yet. I think Duke's going to outscore people. Kansas is going to win some grinders this year when they don't make threes. Next for me, I'm going in your league. I'm going Michigan State. Tom Izzo and veterans and good guards and enough good guards that you're not relying on AJ Hoggard, right? Like, you got Tyson Walker.
There's other guys, if he's on one of those nights where he was so up and down last year, if he all of a sudden's on one of those down nights, you could go Tyson Walker and throw Jeremy Fears out there. Because it sounds like Fears is going to get an opportunity. I'm not saying he's going to start over those guys, but it does sound like he is going to be in the mix.
No, they love Fears. He's going to play because he's tough. Yeah. And again, he's consistent with his approach, which I think it's not even like Hoggard up and down in games. I think it's Hoggard up and down in practices too. And sometimes, again, that translates, right? If you're up and down in games, a lot of times you're going to be up and down in practices. I think that's Izzo's biggest issue. And I think now he can just say, you know what? If you're not playing well, we'll sit your ass down. And we got Jeremy Fears right behind him. But I think Michigan State's got almost everything. I know Jackson Kohler's hurt now, but that's still the one thing that worries me.
The big situation has got to be, I mean, Sissoko, if he was, I don't want to say their backup. If he was playing 15 or 20 minutes a game, I would say, okay.
Yes. They can win it all. Yeah.
But I look at the way Purdue manhandled Michigan State last year. And at the rim, they were not good defending. So that would be my concern. I think Jaden Akins still could be a guy that breaks out. I really think that last year his foot threw him off. Malik Hall is back. We didn't talk about Xavier Booker. He's going to be fascinating, big time player, but is he ready? Is he tough enough? Is he, does he overcome Kohler if Kohler's healthy? Carson Cooper, Marty Sissoko. I don't know.
He's going to be Khalil Ware. That's who he's going to be from Oregon last year. He's going to be Khalil Ware, where he's going to play like 12, maybe 15 minutes, average 5 or 6 points a game. He'll have a couple nights where
didn't Ware average more than that? I mean, I at a couple games early, Ware had some good games. But I know he didn't play well at the end of the year.
I think he averaged like 6 points a game.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It was disappointing. So I got Michigan State. Do you have them Spartans on there too?
Yes, I do.
All right. Go ahead. Next.
Purdue. I'll stay in the Big Ten. That's probably going to be considered a homer pick, but you just
no, not really.
You can't look at their talent and say that they don't belong there. Edie, you start there, National Player of the Year, preseason National Player of the Year, and then I think the fact that their freshman guards are now sophomores, Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. I think Braden Smith takes the next step this year. I really do. He was good as a freshman. I think that he is going to be big time as a sophomore. They're super high on Trey Kaufman-Renn. They're going to play him with Edie a lot. He can really score in the post. I'm a little curious as to how he shoots the ball, just because of the spacing that you could see. That could be a little funky if you got two guys on the block. And then I think that 3 position is up in the air. Is it Ethan Morton? Is it Lance Jones? Is it Miles Colvin? Is it Brian Waddell? They're pretty high on him. And then their front court depth is tremendous with Edie, Kaufman-Renn, Caleb First, Mason Gillis. I mean, how many teams can throw out 4 guys like that? They will crush you on the glass. They need to shoot the ball better from 3. But I do think that this Purdue team is better equipped to be dynamic and have some guys that can get to the basket while also getting some stops. And I just didn't feel like that last year. I think Lance Jones helps in that regard. Miles Colvin certainly helps in that athleticism regard. Cam Heide, who redshirted last year, helps in that regard. He's like a 6'7" wing that, in layup lines as a redshirt, you're like, this dude's like windmilling and doing crazy stuff. He's really athletic. I think that they have a great chance. I really do. Their guards have got to play well. They got to make threes. But you've got Edie, and it's all going to center on him.
I'm with you. I picked Purdue too. The only thing I worry about with Purdue, honestly, is the rotation. Like, they have too many guys right now.
Oh, like how do you keep everybody happy? Yeah.
Right. Right. Am I wrong on that? Like,
no, it's a heck of a problem to have, but you've got 4 dudes in the front court that are really good, and you've got a bunch of guards that are really good. So they're gonna have to figure it out.
And you're gonna play
maybe the thing could be sacrifice someone's gonna have to sacrifice probably a lot.
Yeah. I think like an Ethan Morton is going to see his minutes cut.
But then I heard he played phenomenal in the scrimmage. They have those 3 scrimmages, and supposedly he was big time. So
and he's going to be, because he's a veteran. He knows how to play. Again, you're safe with Ethan Morton. You're safe with him. I just.
But can you get someone that maybe lifts the ceiling? Ethan's going to defend. Yeah. He needs to make more shots from the perimeter, I think, for him to really be a weapon out there. But is the ceiling is certainly higher with other guys, but Ethan is going to be solid. I think you can say that.
Yeah, my two concerns are, again, figuring out the rotation and still athletically, are you going to be able to play Colvin? Like, are you going to play him?
Well, is he ready? Right? Is he ready to play high major college basketball on a team that is legit Final Four good? Yeah, that's a question mark.
But I like him. Listen, again, Zach Edey's a monster down there. Nobody can stop him. The 5th one. Okay, so we agree with all of our first 4. The 5th one, I'd be shocked if you agree with me.
Okay,
I'd be shocked.
Do you want me to go first? You want to go first?
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Villanova. How about that? Villanova. Justin Moore and Eric Dixon still know that Villanova culture, right? They're left over from that. They know what it takes. And then you bring in a bunch of really good talent.
Their transfers are good. Yeah, their transfers
really good, Rob. Really good.
They have
Like,
a good
they're
roster.
old.
If they don't win
Yes.
this year, there's a problem, right, with the
Yeah.
roster he's put together.
And we'll get to that because Kyle Neptune will be one of the coaches that has some pressure.
Do you
on
worry
him.
about Mark Armstrong running the point, though?
I think Justin Moore is going to run the point a lot. I do. I
You
think
think
you're going
they
to have
just put
to.
him at the point?
I
And,
do. Yep.
Yeah.
That's your best lineup at the end of the day. If Armstrong's not ready, which again, if he's ready, that's great. You play more.
What are you going then? More Hakeem Hart, Tyler Burton, Longino, or TJ Bamba?
No. Yeah, Bomba's going to play. Bamba can score.
And
from
then
the
Eric
wing.
Dixon. Yeah.
Yep. That's a big ass team too. That's a lot of length.
I mean, it's just
other than
everybody's
Dixon.
6'4", 6'5", and up, right?
Other than Dixon in the middle, you've got a lot of length everywhere else, and you've got a lot of experience, Rob. A lot of experience on that team. So
yeah, but you've got to put it together. I mean, that's going to be the thing. There's a lot of new faces. You do have a good core of guys that have won, and you don't have Jay Wright anymore. I mean, that's
you do not. That's the big question. Of course, that listen, if Jay Wright were still coaching that team, Rob, you would have them as one of those 5 teams.
I mean, absolutely.
Right. That's the only reason you don't right now.
Yep.
Who do you have? Who's your 5th?
I'm going Marquette.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Marquette. I just think with the point guard play that they have, and then who they have back in their starting 5, I think Iguodaro could be one of those guys that just breaks out and has a massive year. You've got Cam Jones back. You've got Stevie Mitchell back. You've got David Joplin. Even without Max Prosper, he goes to the league, and they still have a really talented team. I think they're tough to play against. And they have dynamic guards. So I think Marquette is a team that can get it done and win it all.
Yeah, I was just going a little outside the box with Villanova.
The Nova pick is interesting because look at the roster. They do have a really, really talented group.
Yes. They don't have a lot of holes other than, again, if you want to say point guard play. But my take is if you go Armstrong and Justin Moore, it takes a lot of the pressure off of Armstrong too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, I think they could play that way. They can then play with Justin Moore at the point. He's not a traditional point, but he can handle it. Not a lot of guys are going to go after him. And he's a year removed now from the injury.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad he's back and he's healthy for sure.
Me too. All right. Let's go on to our next topic, which will transition from Villanova to Kyle Neptune being one of the coaches that has pressure on him. Again, It's year 2. I get it. Kyle Neptune's not going to be fired unless they're horrible.
I mean, unless they're just so bad.
Yes.
That would be the thing.
Which they're not going to be. He had a tough go last year, right? You had to replace Jay Wright, and you had major injuries right out of the gate. You didn't have Justin Moore. You had your top freshman that was hurt all preseason in the first part of the year. You didn't have a point guard. I mean, you legitimately didn't have a point guard last year. So it was completely unfair. But having said that, now he's got all this talent, and there's going to be some pressure on him. Although, Rob, the good thing, and maybe it's only because Kyle Neptune's the coach, it's not like a lot of people are picking Villanova. They're not putting him in the preseason top 10. So he'll have expectations, but they may not be, expectations to go to a Final Four, even an Elite 8.
Yeah. No, I agree. Are we putting a number on this, 1 to 10, or?
Yeah, either that or what does he have to do to be okay after
if he made
year?
the NCAA tournament, I feel like he'd be okay. Even though that roster, I would say, needs to be better than that. If you're giving a 1 to 10 rating, I'd give him a 4. Yeah. If they miss the tournament, there's problems in Philadelphia there.
Yep.
But if they make the tourney, I think that they'd be
fine.
Okay, we're trending in the right direction.
Yes, I would agree. You can't not make the tournament with that roster. If you do, you'll go into year 3 on the squarely on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. It's incredible how easy it is to create a free job post on LinkedIn Jobs. Then add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/good. That's linkedin.com/GOOD to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. The elephant in the room here is John Calipari. And, well, I mean, listen, he's had a rough go, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been to the second weekend since what, like 2019?
Yeah.
2019 was the last second weekend he's been to. What are they preseason, like 17?
Yeah, I have somewhere in that, 15 to 25 range, I think is fair. They're a freshman laden team, but obviously you have Antonio Reeves and Trey Mitchell. But we got to remember, like, Antonio Reeves was a good player, not a great player last year. And Trey Mitchell's been a solid player wherever he's been other than UMass. Right.
That was a great call by you saying he wasn't coming back to school. That was really well done.
Who?
Antonio Reeves. Yeah, didn't you say he was taking classes at Illinois State?
Factual. That was factual.
You said he wasn't coming back, and now
I said it looked like he wasn't coming back. That was the way it was trending.
It looks like it, yeah.
Until they gave him a rule that said that he wasn't going to be eligible, he would have been gone. He would. So that's the other part of Kentucky that kind of worries me, Rob. Like Antonio. Now I know he's back in now, but like at the first sign of these freshmen maybe jacking up shots, is Antonio Reeves going to?
You worry about the chemistry, huh?
Potentially. Don't you? The kid obviously didn't want to be there.
Well, and I worry just about how does the offense work? Because the offense has just not been. It's just
strength.
It's not a strength. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Not a strength for Kentucky the last couple seasons. I think the pressure on Cal to win is high. For numerically, I'll go 8. I think that just the Kentucky fan base is so thirsty to make it past the second round of the NCAA tournament. They got to get to the second weekend, I think, for there to be nothing about Cal this offseason.
Yeah, again, $33 million is still what he's owed. So it's like, is anybody going to?
I'm not saying they're going to fire. I just think the heat continues to get turned up. I'm not saying fired, but I know he's owed a lot of money.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you there. It's like, could somebody write a check? Could they? Yeah, maybe. If it's that bad this year, which I don't anticipate it's going to be that bad. I think they're going to be a tournament team. I think they're going to have their ups and downs this season because of their youth and because we don't know if Aaron Bradshaw's healthy and how much he's going to play. But I would say I agree with you that like he raised the bar so high early.
Well, early it was just like every year they're going to be in the Final Four.
Right.
And their talent was so insane too.
Right.
Not that their talent is bad now. They still have talent, but
yeah.
You look at the roster that they had with the Anthony Davis team. I mean, I guess the weakest link in the starting lineup probably is Marcus Teague. He's like a McDonald's All-American. You've got Kid Gilchrist, you've got Terrence Williams, Darius Miller came off the bench. It's insane.
Right.
He's really good. He's playing for 8 years.
I think 8 is probably accurate in terms of like the heat on Cal. Now, again, does that equate to firing him because of the money? Probably not.
Yeah.
Now there's an offset too. Like if he took another job, they're not going to owe him $33 million. But you can't go into it. You don't know. So you're still, having the worst case scenario would be owing him $33 million, and I don't think anybody at Kentucky wants to do that. All right, next we will go with Hubert Davis, which is a really interesting one. I mean, super interesting because again, they were average 2 years ago for most of the season. They turn it up and they go on this crazy run to get to the title game. Come back last year, preseason #1, and become the first team ever to go from there to spectators in the NCAA tournament. So now year 3, can they have another year like that, Rob? I would say, I don't know if they don't make the tournament again, which again, I don't think will happen because I think RJ and Baycott are too good. And
Harrison Ingram and Cormac Ryan and I agree. They'll make the tournament, I think. They'll make
you think, but again, let's go worst case scenario and say they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, does that, like, how much does that that run.
I
to
mean,
the
I would
title
say
game,
the Heat
give
is
him.
9, but the next year is the year.
Yeah.
He's a Carolina guy. He's
Right.
made it to the national title game,
And he's the nicest human being on the
and he's
planet.
well liked, and everybody likes him there, obviously. So I
Yes.
think that there would be serious pressure, but I
Yeah.
don't think they would fire him.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. And I think as long as he gets in the tournament this year, it's not going to be enough, but it'll be enough to like take some of the pressure off. You can't go 2 years in a row without going to the NCAA tournament at North Carolina, especially when you have two guys that are potentially All-Americans, right?
Yeah.
Baycott is an All-American, and RJ is like a fringe All-American. Like he could become an All-American this year.
I'm really
One of the
intrigued to
best.
see Jalen Washington. He's been hurt since high school.
Yeah.
Northwest Indiana kid.
Yep.
I
Can
really
you play him with Baycott? Can you play him together? That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, can he step out and shoot? I can't say I've seen him play a lot. I've heard a lot about him.
I haven't seen it.
And
Baycott told me he wants to make at least 10 threes this year. That's
Baycott shooting threes this year.
He's made one in his career. So
10 times.
That's what he wants. Yeah, he wants 10 threes. So all right, Juwan Howard, this is right up your alley. You're a hairy Big Ten. So tell me what Juwan Howard, who inherited a great culture from Beeline. He went to an Elite Eight the year of the bubble. He went to an Elite Eight in the last 2 years, although they went to a Sweet 16.
They did go to the Sweet
16.
Ago. Yeah, right.
But they barely got in. They were 11-9 in the league. Last year, 11-9 again, didn't go at all. And then you have 2 first rounders and an All-American, and you don't go anywhere last year, and you lose them all. And this roster looks very, very underwhelming, does it not?
Yeah, I think compared to what they had 3 years ago, there's a lot on the shoulders of Olivier Kamwa. There's going to be a lot asked of Namari Burnett. I think there's some real how does Kamwa play with Terrace Reed? Can Doug McDaniel take a jump? He played pretty well as a freshman at the point. All things considering, is Jalen Llewellyn healthy? Is Juwan Howard going to be healthy? Right now, I don't know what his kind of status is with his heart thing. So he had a procedure. I think that if they are bad, the Heat is 10. I really do. Now, again, he's a Michigan guy.
Right. Yep.
But I think there would be serious heat on Juwan Howard if he doesn't make the NCAA tournament this year. I don't know if he'd be fired, but it would be close. And next year would have to be make the tournament.
Yeah, all these guys are in a similar position to me, and we'll get to the last one in a minute. But all these guys, to me, are not going to be fired after this year, but would all go in if they don't make the tournament, or like in Cal's case, if he doesn't get to the second weekend. I think they all go in next year with a ton. They're all in the hot seat next year.
Yeah.
If they
I
don't
wonder
go to the
though
tournament.
if Juwan Howard gets some reprieve from the perspective that they've had guys committed, Terrence Shannon,
because of NIL,
Caleb
NIL
Love,
and academics,
because of the academics and because of NIL stuff, they haven't got these guys into school.
Yeah.
That's more so academics
Maybe.
with those two. I mean, maybe the school says, all right, we shafted you. The roster would have been a different story with Terrence Shannon last year, obviously. I mean, he would have made a difference. So, but I don't know. They have had such a good run since I would say 2013 on. Since like the Trey Burke sophomore year team, they have been an elite program. And that's not what this roster looks like, I would say.
Last one is Chris Holtman, Ohio State. Got in the tournament every year. He got in the tournament every year since he took over as head coach at Butler. And then last year. Right. Except last year. I was getting there. Yeah,
you were getting there.
And last
slow.
year they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible with talent. They finished, I think, 13th in the Big Ten. They finished okay in the Big Ten tournament, but they lost like 13 games in a row, I think, at one point. They were awful last year. New team for the most part,
We're still with like a core of some young guys in Zed Key.
Yep.
That's the
but I
three
think
guys.
Key's going to come off the bench.
No,
I think
Akpar is coming. That dude is going to be nice.
Yes.
End of the year last year when they made their little run at the Big Ten tournament, Bruce Thornton, Roddy Gale, and Akpar are the core. You have Key off the bench is a good option. I think Jamison Battle has a chance to have a real bounce back here. If you watched him play at Minnesota 2 years ago with some talented guards at the 4,
Yeah.
he was effective. But last year playing the 3 and having to be the guy was a different story. He was a little hurt. I think he could be really good at Ohio State. I think Ohio State is a team that's flying under the radar. As for the hot seat, if Holtman wasn't to make the tournament, I think this seat would be hot. I think it would be really, really hot.
Same issue. Again, same deal as all these other guys. If they get in the tournament, other than Cal, I think Cal's got to do something in the tournament. All the other ones, if they get in, they're okay.
But
although
the Ohio State roster is talent. I mean, Scotty Middleton's a talented freshman. Dale Bonner can play from Baylor. Evan Mahaffey, the Penn State kid, has a chance. He's like a 6'5" athlete.
And the guy's coming back. Like you said, Roddy Gale, does he pick up where he left off?
He was great. And so was Bruce Thornton. Bruce Thornton was too.
Thornton's going to be good, though. Thornton, I'm not worried about. I know what I'm getting out of Thornton. With Gale, I don't know if he's going to pick up where he left off.
Well, hopefully he's had a good summer in the weight room. He needed that.
Yeah, he did. He did. All right, our last topic. The most kind of important players in the country, sort of. I don't even know how you define
I
this.
went with just teams that I thought were going to be really good and pick guys that I thought would. So I'll start. My first one is DeJuan Harris. How can you keep the mouths of all these guys happy? How can you feed everybody? Can you make enough threes along with your other guards to keep defenses? You know, he was 40% last year. He needs to be there again this year. Not on high volume, like 2 attempts a game, but just to be a threat. But the way he sets the tone for them on defense, the way he's going to get them into offense, and just facilitating and making sure everybody gets their shots. I think DeJuan Harris is super important for Kansas.
And I'm going to go with another Jayhawk. I'm going with Johnny Furphy. And I know it sounds weird. Oh, he's going to play. Yeah.
Have you seen him play? Is what I asked. I didn't say he's
going to play. But they. What I know is how important he is because he can make shots. And I'm not sure Timberlake is going to be consistent enough.
How big is Furphy?
6'9", 6'8", 6'9".
So he's still big. Yeah,
he's thin. He's not. They'd
play him at the 3.
Yeah, and he knows how to play, Rob. He really knows how to play. That's the scout on him. Is he moves the ball? He can make shots. He can put on the floor. The physicality is going to be a little bit of an issue, but he's an Aussie who, again, I think they're counting on to make a major impact. Where I understand what you're saying about DeJuan Harris, and I agree from the perspective of making shots. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got, because you can't rely on Hunter Dickinson to be your best three-point shooter. You just can't. And I'm not sure I trust Timberlake to be able to do that.
What did Timberlake shoot last year? Like 30?
Really good.
It was like
40? It was close to 40, if not 40.
And you don't think with Hunter out there, he's going to get good looks and be able to do that?
I don't know. I don't know if he can stay on the court if he can't guard. That's what I'll say. That's my worry about him. If he can't guard, is Bill Self going to keep him on the court? If he makes shots at 40%, he will. But the moment he gets down to where he's shooting in the mid-30s, no, I don't think he's going to play.
You're expecting the worst from my man, Nick Timberlake.
I'm just saying, like, who knows? When you jump up a level like that, who knows?
That's true. But I do think he's going to get some really high-quality looks.
I would agree with that. All right, I'm going to go next. And I'm going to go with your boy, Braden Smith.
Yeah.
At Purdue. I am. I think he's super critical because, again, Payne didn't bring in another point guard. He didn't. He was loyal to Braden Smith. Lance Jones is not a point guard.
Well, I think rightfully so. I mean, he earned that.
Agreed. I'm just saying the pressure is still on him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the pressure's been alleviated off him and there's another option. Braden Smith is the guy. He's the most important guy for Purdue because he's got to make shots. He's got to handle the pressure, which he didn't do at the end of last year, whether it was that he wore down or he didn't have enough help or he was a freshman. Whatever it was too much for him last year at the end of the year when they started coming.
Yeah.
And can he handle that? Can he make shots? Can he lead? Can he do all those things? I think he is super important.
Yeah. I'll just say this is not one player, but this is my 5th, but I'll put him 2nd. I went with Purdue's supporting cast because from watching Fairleigh Dickinson and that game,
Yeah.
I mean, they literally just quadrupled team Zach Edey and said anybody else beat us, and
Yep.
they turned
couldn't.
it over, and it was just Brick City from 3. So
Yep.
for Purdue to reach its ceiling, the supporting cast has got to do its part, and Braden Smith's a part of that. But we'll see if they are ready. I'm sure they've heard about it all summer long, so they're raring to they are hungry. They are a hungry group. My next one is Jaden Akins. I talked about him a little bit in the Michigan State. I just think if Michigan State is going to raise its level and be the team that we think they can be, Tyson Walker is going to be good. AJ Hoggard is AJ Hoggard. He might be a little up and down. Jeremy Fears is going to have a chance to impact games, but I think Jaden Akins can take them to the next level. I think his foot really stunted his growth last year. Even with that, shot 42% from 3. He's great in transition. Can he just take his whole game up another step? If he does, Michigan State is going to be really, really good.
I'm going to go with Trevon Brazile as my coming back from injury.
Yep.
I don't know how long it's going to take, but man, was he freaking good last year before he got hurt.
The dunks he was having, and didn't he shot like 40 from 3?
Yes. Limited.
You don't see a mixture of athleticism and shooting like that normally. That's a pretty rare.
Do that. I mean, if he can do 36 from 3, right? Like, how are you not taking him in the lottery? How are you not?
You would.
I mean, he's freakish.
You would take him. I mean, there's just not guys with that combination.
Like such a talented, high upside guy, and they've got enough good pieces around him. So I think he could be the key for Arkansas in terms of being able to go deep.
Yep. My next selection is, I think you might have him too.
Who?
Caleb Love. All accounts are that he is fitting in well with the Arizona Wildcats. And I just think because of the way that Tommy Lloyd likes to play, where it's ball movement, player movement, cutting, passing, it's going to be an adjustment. How does he fit in with that? If he fits in well, he is a playmaking guard that can shoot from 3. I am fascinated to see how this works. By all accounts, good so far. Yeah. But if he's that guy, they are going to be nice this year.
If there is a picture next to the words X Factor, it would be Caleb Love, right?
Yeah,
it would.
Sure.
It would be Caleb Love this year. And again, I've heard the same things you have. Rave reviews about Caleb Love as a teammate.
Tommy Lloyd was really high on him at Pac-12 Media Day, and the way he had fit in with the team. He was really high on him.
Listen, I hope he's going to guard because that was the biggest. Again, for me, it wasn't so much about the shot selection was something we were kind of used to, right? Like,
but there was just some games where it's like, okay, this is like,
no doubt. But you can live with that, Rob. At times, you can live with that because
when he's on the heater,
correct.
But when it's the opposite of it and he's not, I mean, that's a problem.
But I can't live with the defense. I couldn't live with the defense last year too.
See, I thought some of the shot selection was just so detrimental to the team because then it screws your defense.
Yeah,
you take a bad shot and you're starting the break.
Yep, that's right. All right, we got one more?
Yeah, I'm going to go Tristan Newton in honor of Rob Doster. Ooh, I just think if they're going to be good, he has got to be high level. And he could be. I mean, watch him against San Diego State, high level. Watch him in some of those games where he got triple doubles, high level. He'll defend you. But I think consistency has got to be there. If UConn's going to be really good this year, Tristan Newton is going to be really good himself. So I went with that.
I'm going Justin Moore, Villanova. Again, you know what I think of Villanova, and
national championship good. You said
he showed he was almost back last year. What did you say?
I said you said they're national championship good.
I do. I think if he is healthy, 100%. I just think he's so underrated. Versatile, shoots the shit out of it, can run the point if you need him to, good size. And again,
those Villanova guards on those teams were like linebackers. I mean, they're 6'4", 6'5". They're huge.
Yep. No,
he's a great story. I really hope he has a monster year. I hope he just kills. He deserves it.
Hey, before we go, what's your take on having a preseason All-American team with 4 bigs and a guard? Yeah. Tyler Kolek was there with Hunter and Baycott, who played AU ball together, by the way, for Team Takeover. I tweeted out a nice picture of Hunter in his haircut earlier today from back with Team Takeover, and Zach Edey and Kyle Filipowski. So 4 bigs and 1 guard. You like it?
I think it depends on how you define this team. If the team is defined as the 5 best guys going into the season, yeah. If it's supposed to be 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a big, then no, you would hate this team. But I think if you're talking about the best guys in college basketball, well, Edey's 1. You'd have Filipowski, you'd have Hunter, you'd have Ryan Kalkbrenner, you'd have Donovan Clingan, and you'd have Armando Bacot. So you could have had, honestly, all 5 bigs of those guys and made arguments for those dudes. But Kolek, I think, is deserving. And then after that, you get into the kind of the next tier, which would be a bunch of guards, whether that's Tyrese Proctor or Max Asmus or Tyson Walker or Justin Moore or Trey Alexander. That's when you start getting into those groups of guys. But I don't think any of those names should be above the 5 that are on there. The only 2 that I really think have beef would be Ryan Kalkbrenner and Donovan Clingan.
Yeah. And Clingan's still got to earn it, right? Like Kalkbrenner did it
no
for
doubt.
30-plus minutes. Clingan played, 10, 12 minutes. I mean, again, freshmen have been on this list. So I'm not saying Clingan doesn't deserve it.
No, but now it's his time to step his game up, right? Like it's his time to show that he is that guy. And on a higher volume, he is an All-American. I think he will be. But he has not proven that. Ryan Kalkbrenner, and we talked about this a little bit with the our draft that I just destroyed you in. He was a guy that, he should be drafted. He should be on one of those teams.
Yes.
But because of the fact that we were only each taking really 2 bigs, he wasn't taken. But that's, he should use that as a slight. If I'm him, I'm furious. Like, how could you not take me? Look at what I've accomplished.
I hope he yells at you. Actually, I'm going to see him tomorrow. He's probably going to yell at me.
You didn't take him either.
I know. He's probably going to yell at me.
Who'd you take instead? Hunter Dickinson and Armando Bacot.
I did.
Hunter and Armando.
I took the Team Takeover deal.
You did? Your team is so bad.
We're going to get those 2 on here. So you could talk shit about my team. When those 2 come on our pod and you shit all over them, how do you think they're going to be then?
Look, I got to defend my guys. I'm an excellent fantasy football player, and I'm an excellent fantasy drafter with the new regime, the new way of thinking.
The last year you got
the new way of thinking. Only productive people. Only productivity is on my squad.
And I fell for the Hummel 1.0. And I started
you were also drafting like a moron. Like, I draft a center. There's 7 dudes you could take, and you're like, all right, I'll match that and take. Why would you not take like Tyler Kolek or someone that's different?
I've had enough of you. I've had enough. This podcast is over.
This might be
I've had enough slander. I've had enough slander on my team. All right. My team is just going to go out there and earn it.
You know what their biggest problem is? Not their talent. The fact that their GM is a moron. That is their biggest issue. And their coach. I'm going to assume that we coach these teams too.
By the way, I just picked up a new pickleball racket the other day.
Doesn't matter, dude.
You better start, honestly, in Phoenix. I'm going to embarrass the shit out of you.
I shot 73 4 days ago on the golf course. Fire performance.
You're playing.
And I bogeyed 18.
How many times do you think you played this offseason? Legitimately.
I hope 100. I hope 100 times.
I bet it might have been more.
Wait. Well,
how many offseason days were there? April
4th.
You started playing right away. You were on the course like April 6th.
Well, I played in Houston twice.
April, May, June, July, August, September. It's basically almost 6 months. So that's 100. Yeah, you probably had about 160 days. I bet you played 100 of them.
I think I probably did. I hope I did. But my off season got started right at Blue Jack National, Tiger Woods course in Houston, Texas, at the Final Four. That was great.
All right, goodbye. I'm not talking about this.
Great episode.
I'm not talking about this. All right, we'll see you next week. Goodman and Hummel pod. I got to get to work. Hummel's got about 2 more weeks of vacation before he actually starts working again, and then we're gonna hear, "Oh, Robbie Hummel, I see him every night. Look at how hard he works. The dude hasn't worked for 6 months."
I was at the media days. I work more on Stadium. You were employed by Stadium, and I swear to God, I've worked more there than you ever have. So I don't know what you're talking about.
All I know is you dropped a profanity on Stadium the other day. I was told you might be fired for that. You might be fired.
if it happens, it was on the Clubhouse, which is a streaming thing. I picked up the wrong stack of cards and I said shit. I've never done that before, but I did. I think
All right, we'll
they
see you
took it with
next
a
week.
grain of salt. We're okay. But see you guys next
Next
week.
week, I will be home next week. You will be too. I know. I mean, maybe if it's nice out in Chicago, you might hit the golf course. But other than that, you're doing jack shit next week. So we're getting into a little bit of a rrhythm here. All right. No
I
more
think
weeks off.
tomorrow's my last day on the course. I think it's gonna be 76 here in Chicago.
Ooh, boy, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
All right. We'll see you next week.